it's been a long journey to get to where we're at right now. Like, I've had the thought of a podcast for so long, and it kind of arose in different ways of, like, for one, I've had like so many meaningful conversations with people, and everyone has that like spark and that, I don't know, something in them that I just love and am intrigued about. And then our daily like COVID lunch meetings.
What's that? We'll get into it.
It's bad. But yeah, those also like just inspired me to be like, okay, we can do something with this, right? And where I want to branch off of this, like, it's kind of crazy because prior to like all this, like I wanted Henry to be my first guest, but he got this new ass house, which we will get to as well, and how he got to that. And I had some other guests scheduled prior to this, but it turns out like the universe said, you know what, Henry's going to be the one.
Meant to be.
It's meant to be. It really is. And you got to listen to the universe when it tells you and slaps you in the face. So, Henry, where do you even start with him? Like, the first time I met Henry was in the MyTech office, and that's where we're working right now. And I don't know. The only thing I remember is me wheeling my wheelie chair over to Henry and asking him questions. But regardless, no one needs to know that.
When's the first time you saw me? Can we diverge?
No. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Yeah, I want to.
Let me introduce Henry. So Henry's a software engineer at MyTech.
Yep.
And the best way to describe Henry, this is going to be reminiscent for Henry, and this was on Urban Dictionary. So on Urban Dictionary, the name Henry is defined as such: a German or Irish name meaning hero or ruler of the home. Henrys are some of the sweetest people once you get to know them. They are also great friends, as they stand up for those who mess with others and would gladly take a bullet for someone they love. Henrys like to mess around with others, especially if they feel close to you and they care about you deeply. Most Henrys have troubled past and seem to daze off at random times, reflecting on the past. So, that is Henry. Like, I really, like, once I heard that, I was like, that is Henry. And whether this is one of those horoscope moments of, like,
that's good.
Oh my God, it just fits. But, like, that, for me, describes Henry in my experience. And we're going to get into that. So, let's blast off.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Oh, salud. Don't mind me spilling my full shot almost the whole time.
Honestly, that's not bad. From what I remembered, it used to be worse, but that is actually really good.
That's really good.
Do you know how gin is made, actually?
Distilled gin or like?
Just gin and originally.
I think there's different, right? And it's like, actually no. I'm gonna say no because there's dry gin, there's extra dry gin, there's like other types of gin, and I don't really know.
Yeah. So my definition of what I'm gonna tell you from what I've heard, originally gin was made from the pine berries. So like same thing you would do with grapes, right? You ferment pine berries from like pine trees. So that's why it has a very
pine smally or like cleaner.
And if you go in here, it has like everything in there, but like the main ingredient is pine berry.
Wow.
All right, but from what I just read to you, like what?
Oh, jump it back.
Yeah, jump it back.
The
Urban Dictionary definition of Henry. What is that like? Was there anything in what I defined that like stuck out to you?
So I agreed with all of it. It was crazy, and I was like, dang, that's cool, that's awesome, right? It was one of those. Actually, in my head, I was like, I wonder if like my parents, right, or anything, looked at the name, right, and said like decide. And
no
of course
way.
They did not Urban Dictionary at the time, but you know, it's like names mean something, and right at some point. But they probably didn't, right? I think my parents were like, that's a unique name. It's not used all the time. It's Henry. But when I heard that, I was like, that's awesome. That fits me to a T. The one thing that stuck out to me that normally means that I like don't agree with it, or I'm like, oh, I was like, dazes off all the time, or you know. But then he's like, thinks about the past. I think about the past all the time. So I was like, dang, that's like a 50-50. But I don't think I ever really like daze off. I'm very attentive all around. Do you see me?
But overall,
have you ever seen me dazing?
No, not really.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it would be spooky if it was like on the nail, you know, type of thing.
Yeah, but I would say 85-90% accurate, right? Now, one thing, other than that, I was like, take a bullet for the people I care about. I would say I have high walls, right? And stuff like that, where it's like, I'm not going to trust you unless I trust you. And to a certain degree, right? And there's certain things like that. So all of that in my head resonated. I was like, dang, that's cool. That's cool. Have you looked at yours? Have you looked at yours?
I have, but that's not for today, because today I want to learn about you, or like get it on the record. But I have read my Urban Dictionary of Eric.
I gotta be able to ask
I have to ask you something.
Okay,
I have to ask you something after what you just said, and that was,
I'm not letting you bully me in this podcast.
I'm gonna bully the fuck out of you. So when did you start trusting me? Like when you said, like there comes a point where you start trusting people. When did you start trusting me? Yeah, it's a good one. Huh?
That's a really good question. Did you come up?
That was right on the spot. That's on the spot.
That's a good one. Oh, man, so I've known you for 2 years now, 2.5, about
since I started working at MyTech.
And you're 2 years in.
I'm almost at 3 in June 3rd.
So like 2.5,
June
right?
4th.
I mean, so that jives, right?
Uh-huh.
So 2.5. And can we go back? So I'll answer the question, but I don't remember the first time we met, really.
Me neither.
So I remember.
Yo, honestly, on that though, you should almost bookmark anytime you meet anyone, because you never know when like someone will become that like.
But that in my mind,
and if you approach
you didn't stand out, which is weird to me.
I mean as a person, because no. What I'm trying to say is like, that person shouldn't stand out to you, but you should make them stand out to you. Like, no matter who it is, like if you approach everyone as like, I want to make sure I remember you from the start, because you never know.
You dressed up on your first day, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So that's probably. So I do kind of remember that. I don't know if it's an image or you dressing up.
No, I actually what is the word? Not regurgitated.
It's like
revved my memory up, right? But like,
yeah, exactly.
The first day at MyTech, like I came in with orange and blue, like nice dress shirt, like nice dress pants, nice shoes, and I thought it was like a dress environment. This was my first, I guess you would say, white collar job, right?
Yeah,
white collar job. So I went in there. And then after that, I think many of you won't know who Jesse is, but Jesse is someone that works at our office, and he's like, "Hey, you can't wear a tie in this office," type of thing. And then
did he say?
I don't know, or a collared,
looking for a job,
or right? Like a collared something, right? I had a collared shirt, and he's like, "You can't wear a collared shirt," and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna take note of that." But I was being introduced to everyone, and then
you got the walk around.
I got the walk around from Godfrey, which was our original manager, and then from there we were introduced, and it was probably subtle, so it wasn't like anything meaningful. We're like, oh my god, I remember you saying something super important, but
that's what I'm trying to remember. It wasn't like I don't even know the first like half a year in.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't that long, but month in, maybe just learning. I'm trying to remember when we started to interact more.
It was ping pong.
No,
it was ping pong, bro.
That was when we really started to interact. But it was, I mean, because you wheeled over way before that.
I guess. Yeah, right? You're right. I mean, what was your opinion of... Okay, and also, I guess we should give some context, like, of me wheeling over, like, literally...
Yeah, we got to get in all that.
We're in a cubicle
scene. Give the history.
We're in a cubicle.
I want to hear your history of how it went. Because, so the question was, when did I start trusting you, right?
Yeah.
So that was what the question was posed. So I'll answer that. And I think it was... when I hung out with you outside of work. The minute we started interacting, probably the third interaction outside of work, whether that be at somebody else's house, something, you were there. I had your phone number. I knew where you were. I went to your house, right? And so I had that interaction. It was like, this is more than a work friend, right?
So would you say vulnerability builds trust?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say yeah. And whether it be good trust or bad trust, right? Vulnerability means like, you could screw me over in one way or another, right? I think at a certain point, either of us could do harm to the other, whether just from knowing stuff in interaction, right? Which is from trust, but also a byproduct of trust.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's because you got to give some to what is there's like a whole adage of like, the only way to trust someone is to fully trust them, and then like,
you just give it all.
You give 100% of trust until they like do you wrong, and then you just kind of start chipping away on that.
Right? Or
I'm
a firm believer of that. which is I don't think you've learned at the bridge yet because you're still here, right?
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it's interesting because the first, I guess, maybe major interaction was at your house, right, with a bunch of other people, and even that I was a recluse. I would say, would you call me a recluse? I would say I was pretty much a recluse.
Also, I want to mention.
Oh yeah, bring it up. Interject.
I'm for sure interjecting. We have a word of the day.
I can't see the crap out of your screen.
No, that's fine. Also, for everyone, I have like this privacy screen, which
makes
was
me
cheaper.
nervous. I'm seeing a black screen.
It was cheaper than like I'm not crazy.
This man's just
regardless
avoiding me. No, word of the day. I love that. So
all right, so
segment.
Is
this going to be a common segment?
Yes, absolutely. Every podcast will have a word of the day. I'll do my best to try to relate it to the person that I'm interviewing so that like it has some significance to it, right?
This is going to tell me something or spark some questions. Let's hear
Absolutely. So there's two options for you.
Oh.
One
Are
of
you
them.
Going to tell me or do I get like A and B left in my hand?
No, I'm going to give them to you and you get to choose. Or if you want to use or hear both of them, then by all means that is something that we can do. And the objective of this is trying to use either of the word or one of the words in our conversation naturally. And if at the end we have to force it, we'll force it. We'll force it. But if you can do it naturally, that's awesome.
Could we do a tally? That'd be
a tally
15 times you use that word.
That I mean,
in the future.
Put it down. Put it down. We're absolutely going to use words multiple times. So the two words I found, one of them is aberrant, being out of the ordinary. Aberrant. The second word, and most, I would say, have heard this one, but it's clandestine or clandestine. Undertaken or done so as to escape being observed or known by others.
Yeah.
So those are the two words. Do you want to use both of them, or do you just want to choose one of them?
I love clandestine.
Okay, and that's how you say it? Clandestine?
I'm pretty sure. I feel like I've heard it but wouldn't know it. You know, like just off the fly. Right? Clandestine. So
clandestine.
Read the definition again.
Clandestine. Undertaken or done so as to escape being observed or known by others.
Interesting. Okay.
So you're just keeping it low key.
Yeah. Basically, it's like
clandestine. But okay, keep that in the back of your head.
Clandestine.
If that sparks any
comes into a conversation.
Yeah. So why do you think I chose those words?
I think it's the past me. I feel like you know a couple sides of me. Okay. You've seen a change over the many years, the 2 years I've known you. I would say I'm not the same person. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think your first interactions with me, I was clandestine, right? I was very absolved, back, and basically in my own world, right? I knew what I did every day, come in, come out. Just, I'm not gonna say shy. I don't know if shy is a word. I wasn't really scared of aggression, right? Aggression was not even aggression, just like conflict. I guess that's a better word for it. I wasn't scared of conflict and stuff. I didn't like conflict, but it was more maybe not comfortable in my own self. You know what I mean? So it was more of that recluse, right? And I would say that's a good word for clandestine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, and you said it, why did you not feel comfortable?
So, wow, really just hitting home.
Yeah, bro, let's get to it because this is the good stuff.
So basically, and
tell us your story because it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, so, and I guess the reason I didn't feel comfortable is I knew I was smart and I had a lot of pride, right? And that I've always been a heavier set big dude. And I would say that leads you down a different path in life.
What was your heaviest weight?
365.
Damn.
Heaviest weight.
Yeah.
That's probably more than anybody in the NFL. I don't know if there's anybody topping that, right?
It's in the charts.
Yeah, so I mean, we're there. That's like my 600-pound wife, right? In my head, that's where I vision it. Not, it's only halfway there, right? But that's a big boy. That's a big guy, right? So even like that, I remember high school. I played football, right? And on the roster, I think it was one of those scenarios where lying, right? And it was like I was 340, 345, something like that. I'd say I was 330. So on the roster, it showed 330. It was like just one of those things that I was always not that I cared. I don't know. I just didn't have that mindset where it was like I like to eat. I love to eat. My family loved to give. My dad was definitely one of those. I'll show you affection by giving you sweets, giving you candy. That's how I show love, right? It was just things. So I came to love food. And of course, because food's awesome, right? I don't think a lot of people that don't like food are definitely not there. You know, I don't know who you are, but I love to eat. I still can eat to this day, right? I don't say I'm still a big guy. I'm still just a big, heavier set dude, right? And that's through genetics, so I'll take that. My dad's 6'3". I think I'm 6'4", right? I got an inch on him. That was my goal in life. My goal in life was like, when I was younger, was to be taller than him. I wanted to be taller than him. And I even went to Walmart one time, and they were like, there was this lady, she's like, oh, you two are lumberjacks or something, and it's, oh, you must be the son. And, it was me and stuff, but I was taller than him. I was like, oh, I did it, right? I made it in life, right? Which is kind of interesting. But so that's where it started, right? Just being bigger and taller. And I think in high school is middle school, it's a rough place for a big kid. It is.
Or it could be a powerful place if no one's messing with you and you're just...
Nobody did. Yeah. And that was the thing. So it was all subconscious, right? In my head, I would assume, and not even assume, I have to. I have to know that because I wasn't bullied. I was a big kid. I could sit on you at 360 pounds, right? 300, they say in middle school. Through middle school, I wore the same shirt. It fit me from middle school till end of high school. That's a long time to sit and fit in the same 2X, 3X shirt, right? Mm-hmm. And buying stuff, that sucks. Try buying good clothes at 3X.
Yeah.
You don't really get options, right? You're at the Ross with the hand-me-downs because it's there, right? You're not finding designer stuff at 3X. Right?
Yeah.
Interesting, right? Just dilemmas that you have to kind of deal with. So I was that kid, so that played in my head, right? Well, nobody else really knew because I didn't look it. That was the weird dilemma I had. I didn't really look it because I was big boned. That's what I like to say. I don't know if that's a real medical term. Have you heard that?
I've heard, but it's not a real.
Well, my bones are bigger than yours.
If you don't know, if you look at a skeleton, I've seen actual X-rays of this, but if you look at skeletons, they are equivalent.
No way! Yeah. I guarantee you, my bones are bigger than yours.
Yes, because of size difference. Right now, you're 6'4"?
Yeah, I think somewhere. Right
and I'm 5'6". There is an obvious difference because my bones are obviously not going to match this. But there is it's not actually a thing where it's it adds extra weight, or it should.
But there's a
scientifically,
limiter, right? Yeah. I mean, there's a certain degree of.
But proportionally wise, your size right now, where you're at right now, which is 220 compared to
it's 225
exactly, dude. What is that? 160 pounds?
140, 100. Yeah, I think the most. I'm
not even gonna do math on the spot because that shit is hard.
It's max at 140, right? A weight loss in almost a half a year to a year is when I did it. So that was a life change because of my tech. I'm blaming you and other friends.
Say more.
Say more?
Yeah, why do you blame me and other people at MyTech for your change in lifestyle or change in who you were?
Because it started to matter. That's
in what sense?
And in my head, right? And so it was funny. I guess in terms of relationships and other things like that, all through high school, none of it really mattered, right? I never found somebody I connected with to a degree of anything, right? Where it's and not that you're stupid, but it's dang, you just don't get me, or you don't this, or it's oh, I don't connect with you, or anything similar. Where even like that, look, girlfriends back in the day, right? Anything like that, I was not worth it, right? So no long lasting, you know what I mean? But now I met you guys, I was I don't want to look like a fool in front of them. That's when it started. We started doing for you guys, right? It was a Volo. We can say that, right? I'm pretty sure, right? A Volo.
You say whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh, good. I can go in, right? A Volo league, and the first thing, this man, Eric Vargas, right here, he's like, "You should come play with us." Nah, absolutely not. Me and my recluse self, right?
Yeah.
I'm oh, frick! I wish I remembered the word, but you, what?
Clandestine.
Dang it! It would have been perfect there, right? But so it was that me being me, right? Back, I'm absolutely not. Make a fool of myself, not even that. I was pretty athletic. It kind of going back to the day where it was I hid the weight well. That led to confidence issues, a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Where just in my head, they say other people don't care about you, you care about yourself way more. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Most people don't care at all, right?
The only person that's going to love you the most is yourself, in my opinion.
So I wasn't happy. And I didn't realize that. I think all through middle school, all through high school. I wasn't happy. I would say I ate my sorrow, whatever that means, right? Even like that. through college, I kind of went through a phase where I was like half dieting, half not. Went through that, and it was like I got down to like from 350, 360 that weight to like 310, and I was like, oh, that's it, right? It was like boom, and I would say that's commendable. 50 pounds, pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, but it was still not way overweight, way obese, weight problems. I mean, in reality, I would say I've probably been to the doctor more than anybody my age, just because, not anybody, but a lot of people my age, just for health issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not even like bad health issues, but just high blood pressure, stuff you probably shouldn't have as a kid, right? Where it's like, yo, you're on that. If you keep going like this, you'll get diabetes. If you do this, blah, 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 blah. It kind of grazed over my head. Kids are fools.
Yeah.
They really are. They don't know what's going on. And I would say that's probably a regret in my life, is if I realized that it could have changed. But it would change who I am now, which is, we've had those conversations many a times where I like where I am now. I like my friends now. I like everything about it. I bought a house. I'm doing great in life, right? I mean, realistically, compared to most other people. So it would change all that. And
yeah,
that's a hard thing. I mean, did you go through any of that through high school, middle school?
Confidence issues, for sure.
I think that's everybody.
And that's the thing.
What's up with dude? You think girls go through it?
Yeah, they have to. Yes.
I don't
What
know,
makes
man.
it so different? Just a vagina and a penis? Like, that is not
Yeah,
enough to be like, oh my god, we're complete. No.
I think girls are actually more harsh. Are we playing footsie under the table?
Hey.
Sorry.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I think that what's body language? Hold on. Sorry to diverge, but they say body language is when
mirroring is actually what you're
mirroring.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm doing that now, but they say so. This is technically when I put my leg over here. It's like I don't want to be in part of the conversation because
it's actually yeah. Let's go into that. I like that too.
No, because that's something. It's body language, which is huge.
Yeah.
And
also, like crossing your arms is
they
like
say like you're out of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
But sometimes it feels comfortable, but also like listening, you're like,
bro, I got
so don't like get stuck in those frames of like I cross my arms, so that means I'm not listening. Like,
I don't know what to
no.
do with these half the time. I'm not kidding. Like,
Yeah.
that's weird. Even like that, anything like that, where do you put them? When I'm sleeping, where do I put this on? You know what I mean? It's just like,
It's when you're thinking the most that comes into your mind. When you're thinking the most of things and like everything that's going on is when you think about like, oh, my arms are being funky. Like,
yeah.
And that's where like, I guess that's a whole even different branch that I want to go into, like where it's just like thinking and overthinking. But to go back to your question about high school and like confidence, like dude, there's so much to go there because like
you heard a little of my story, right?
Yeah, and honestly, thank you for like, because I probably was like called out your numbers and all this shit. And, like I probably shouldn't have said or like whatever, right? Yeah. Whatever. Like
if I was still that weight, it probably would have been a whole different conversation. Where I'm like,
but like
I worked at it, right?
But like, but by all means, like. Thanks for like even just opening up and saying shit like that. So like appreciated.
Yeah.
But for me, like I think my biggest weakness in high school was like my acne, and like I was just so self-conscious. Like
really?
Yeah, big time.
No.
Even to this like it isn't as of till recent that I'm like just growing into myself and like growing into that. But you kind of mentioned this or went over this earlier, which was like this newfound confidence and like or like I was limiting myself by like how I viewed myself, right? But
would you say like, and this was a terrible term, but I've said it to people, and I'm not scared to say it, but like pizza face. Would you say to that? Have you heard that term before?
Yeah, I've heard that term. It's kind of crazy because the first time I heard that term was in Mexico. I went to like the first time I went to visit my cousins in Mexico.
Yeah.
There was this girl.
Did they call you that?
No, not me.
I was like, dang, that's
and
cold.
at this time, like I was just going into high school, so this was prior to me going into high school, right? But like when I was going into high school, like I went to Mexico, I went and like met my cousins, and there was this one girl at my cousin's high school that she had bad like skin at the time, right?
Yeah.
And my cousin would like call her pizza face, and I was like. At the time, I was like kind of just trying to fit in. I was like, yeah, pizza face, whatever, right? And
wow,
it's kind of crazy.
You just rolled with it.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy how like social dynamics and like I feel fucking shitty about it. And it's almost like a curse on me, right?
Well, I got a good question for you then.
But, But like, I'll finish this topic. But I went and I think like regardless, when I went into high school is when like I really started just break out and just have really shitty skin, and like I just didn't feel comfortable in myself. I didn't have any confidence. I didn't believe in myself. I did not love myself, because I was like, damn, I'm just not I'm not the guy that like the girl that I like would want to go out with. Like I would have that not necessarily
you lost
image.
before the game started.
Exactly.
Man.
And that's the thing that I'm like, but like now thinking about it, or like how I try to live life, it's just kind of being who I am with the cards that I'm dealt. Like, I have this hand, I'm gonna play it the best I can.
It's gotta be you, right?
Yeah, and there's no point in like trying to put other people's thoughts in my head of like, oh, that person probably thinks I'm hideous or whatever, right? But like, that doesn't matter. Why is
that a subconscious thing though? Why does that happen?
It's because we
care.
Yeah, but we try to like.
If you told me I was like, you're fat, like just like you, I'm like, dang, man, that hurts, right? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, and then that was, I guess, even in my life, when I started making the change, that's what caused it. I was like, I don't want to think that, right? And that, all of it, boom, that changed my life. You know what I mean? You think like you can make huge, drastic changes just because of thoughts in your head, right? Where does that come from? I mean, and there's not an answer for that, I don't think, really.
Yeah.
But, an idea, right? It's like your thoughts on why it would happen. But that's crazy, where people matter so much to humans because the brain is crazy.
I would say it's more about like our brain is in a sense like tailored to be a part of community because it matters. Like prior to technology beings, and like everything else, like a community and being a part of it mattered. Like I don't know if you've ever been camping, but like when you go camping, like and there is little commodities or little
resources.
Not commodities, but I'll think about it once I get there.
Resources, or what like utilities?
No, like what is it? Convenience.
Oh, convenience. Sure.
When there's little convenience, like you really show yourself,
right?
Get
that word out. I was
I had to.
It's dying.
But like with little convenience, you kind of get to know what you're kind of capable of, and like that kind of where this sprung from was like community based, right? And like convenience, like we live in a world of convenience now. Like everything we do, like these cans, this microphone, convenient. Everything is so convenient now, and we're almost to the point where we're wanting more and more and more convenient until we get to that Wall-E stage, right? The thing about camping and nature that I love so much is like it removes everything about that. Like everything goes back to ground, and in a sense, it even isn't ground one. It isn't even ground zero. It's like ground 3 or like whatever the scale is, right? Because you still have like gas, you still have like an axe.
Depending on how much you bring, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have plenty of amenities.
No finding a rock, no using a leaf, no.
Exactly. And once you go to the camping scene or anything outdoors with limited supplies, like you kind of do get to see that side of it where it's just like, okay, like this is different, or not necessarily different, but like you don't have all the accessibility, and you really do get to know yourself in a different sense. Like, are you gonna kind of like, okay, this fire, or I don't know how to like describe it unless you're there. And that's also something kind of curious, or not curious, but something that like I didn't realize until I got into college or like higher education, or at CSU, being that it's so close to the mountains, right?
Is that where you went to school?
Yeah, I went to.
Where'd you go to high school? Hold on.
Rangeview High School in Aurora.
And then went to CSU.
I went to CSU. And
good info.
Well, my story will trickle in with all the episodes. No. We don't have to. We don't have to.
What if I ask it?
If you ask it, by all means, I'll answer it.
So Rangeview, Aurora.
Yeah.
So you're pretty central in Aurora. You're in Aurora now.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you divert me from what I was saying.
But yes, keep going.
I got into like outdoor stuff at Fort Collins, right? So in Fort Collins, I was like, "Yep, outdoors is cool." And now I really found out, like, for so many reasons, like I like to be outdoors, and that's something I like to do. But there's a lot of people that have similar backgrounds to me in the sense that they don't get to experience the outdoors because it's not. It is a luxury in a sense, like, and people don't understand that, like. Being outdoors and going hiking, like, by all means, to you, it may be an easy thing. Like, oh my God, like, we get to take Saturday off and we get to go to the mountains and hike this trail and, like, it's beautiful. I have my dog, but, like, there's a whole different lifestyle that is lived where, like, you don't get to go, like, that's your mom or dad is probably working on Saturdays or is so tired from that whole week that like they don't get to go and be like, yeah, let's go to the mountains, let's go walk. Like that is not in their head, right? Because also, I mean, so much worry about like trying to take care of your kids for right reasons, because why not? Like those are your kids and you want to give them the best. And that's one thing that like in a sense I had to realize by myself of like through Fort Collins. But now it's just like everyone should go outdoors like as often.
So why did you specifically learn that from Fort Collins instead of...
Because it's so close to the mountains. It's so close to the mountains.
Like Cherry Creek Reservoir or anything like that.
It's not the same. I would say because I went. Yeah, you're right. I went to Cherry Creek Reservoir. I went to like Aurora Reservoir, and I experienced those things. But it's different from like the just. This is a word that I learned from one of my friends. Her name is Mickey, and it's a hogback. Do you know what the hogback is? It's like
I can take a guess, but no, hit me with it. Hogback.
A hogback is like the beginning of a mountain range or the beginning of like of hills or whatever. It's like the first. And Fort Collins is just so located at a hogback where like Horseshoe Reservoir and there's like I don't know. Google it. Everyone has Google. Horseshoe Reservoir is an awesome place, but Fort Collins is right next to a hogback, and yeah, nature it's cool. That's all I gotta say. It's cool. We gotta all experience it. And
so you really think Fort Collins is where the nature so that was my question basically. I was gonna say, when did you start loving and wanting to be in nature so much?
Fort Collins. Yeah, when I was there and met a cool bunch of friends. Yeah.
So that was 24 years into your youth, right? You ignored it since then, right?
It's not that I ignored it. I was deprived of it, like for
didn't
obvious
miss
reasons.
it because you never saw it. Right?
Yeah. Like we would obviously from time to time like go and like take a cruise through the mountains with my family, but like or like even when I was like 11,
you took a cruise.
Yeah, like we would cruise through the mountains and come back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
and not me driving as an 11-year-old. No. But I mean, like, I mean, like, we would go to California and like cross the Rockies and like I'd see the mountains and all this, right? But never like really go outside, like step foot on a trail, right? And
you still love that. To this day, you love outdoors.
Yeah.
What is the yearning to be outdoors? There's something with So I'm going for the other. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I'm indoors. I got everything I need. I got my
comfort. You have comfort.
Oh, comfort.
And that's the reason. That's kind of in a sense how I like to live my life, and it is in a sense
not
uncomfortable.
Comfortable? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because that's where I grow the most. Like in comfort, you become stagnant and you become like not necessarily lazy because I don't like that Yeah, fuck it. We'll use it. You become lazy, right?
Oh,
you'll watch Netflix on a Saturday and just scroll through it. You'll go on YouTube. You'll do different things. But when you get uncomfortable and things like that's kind of when you best get to know yourself in a sense, like because you don't get to know yourself in easy times. Like in easy times, like someone's like, "Hey, just chill out on this couch."
But it's safe, right?
Yeah, it's safe. But like,
do you have like a terrible like uncomfortable story then, right? What's the
I have plenty of those.
But I mean, so I would say recently, right? Ever since that, I've kind of like the outdoors more. Whatever reason, maybe no one knew. I'm like, this man is out all the time. I got to get out there. Is there bads that outweigh the good, or is it all good and you get 10% bad, or is there really a learning experience no matter what you do, right?
I think as soon as you try to put that mindset of like, I'm going to go out here, I'm going to learn something because Eric's out here.
I think it's an experience, right? That's
it's just like, that's the thing. And that's kind of the thing about life. Like you shouldn't expect any, just experience it. Like just, that's how nature as well, I perceive it. It's just like, just go out there and experience it. Like it's so cool having the sunbeams hit your face and you go out there and there's like this trail that ancient humans probably have created because whatever reasons.
It's like that, like crafts from like, what's the whole thing where you craft, like go out there with nothing and survive, right? Survivor Man's kind of style where it's like.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I watched Survivor Man plenty of times, but I don't know. That does take a certain mindset and a certain.
That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
When you have nothing, right?
Yeah,
You're starting from
easy.
Literally.
It's a lot of knowledge. It's a lot of knowledge, and like, I mean,
You don't want to make a fire. You're not having a good time, right?
So what deprived you of like camping and outdoors?
I would say so. I went camping when I was young, and I loved camping.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because we had everything, and not had everything. That's a weird like. I have a lot of stuff.
No, honestly though.
But
you had everything that satisfied you. I mean, you didn't have a Lamborghini.
Had necessities, right?
You didn't have like the newest.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
But you know
what
I mean? It's when we went camping. It was never. We didn't go to the random side of the road and not have a car. That we went with a van. That technically, if stuff didn't work out, we could sleep in the van.
Yeah.
Where it was like, okay, there's a mattress in the back of the van, or it was a old, very old, like blue sofa it was sofa that then laid down, which made like a mattress type thing. So it was like technically road tripping, anything, we could sleep in the car, which means we're really like sleeping in a hut, a house, boom, instantly. So it was like the fear factor or any of that gone in a second, right? It was like it was no risk. I guess that's where it comes at, is risk, right?
Yeah.
Where it's, we go somewhere and really I would say my first camping experience was probably at Horsetooth.
I'm like, sorry. Yeah, Horsetooth, okay.
No,
yeah.
Horse. You gonna mirror me?
I was.
Mirror me.
Like unintentionally,
Yeah.
I was about
Bro,
to just do the
it's
same.
Thing.
It's kind of weird.
Way, but it's true though. But we're in it, right?
Yeah.
Horsetooth, which I'm sure you've been camping at Horsetooth. Maybe yes.
Not camping like on the shore, but like enough to see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you have to pay in Horsetooth Reservoir, right? I mean, pretty much it's like you pay for a campsite.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what we do. So it was never free or like open camping. Where we did when I was young, where it was like we know we have a campsite. There's a fire pit. There's a something. You pay blank a night, and you get it. So that was the camping I knew when I was younger because everything was there. It was available. Right? It was like, oh, blank, blah, do this, do that. Technically you could walk half a mile and go to a porta potty. I mean, everything was there. It was not camping. It was camping, but without all of the nature.
So would you recommend people go or like not? You didn't really get it because just be truthful. Like, yeah, you did.
So I love that. I love that experience younger, and it made me like the real version. I'm gonna put air quotes around that, right? Real version where it was like just in nature where there's nothing with there. You make your own pit or you make your own fire or that and you kind of just set up camp somewhere, right? And that's it. I think it's barriers to entry, right? And that's a good starting point where it's like, oh, I'm sitting next to the ravine, boom, put my tent up. My car is there, so I'm pretty safe. Fire pit's here, I'm pretty safe. Porta potty's down the way. I'm pretty good, right? It's like I got almost the bare necessities. I'm like, cool. I don't have maybe Wi-Fi or internet, but that's a good start. That's how I got introduced into camping. And
so would you recommend? Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I think it's great, and there's something about it, and so I have mixed emotions at this point because in my mind there's only a couple things to do with camping. Right now, in this period of my life, where it's like, if I'm going camping, I'm eating and drinking and like there's certain things.
But you're sharing community and like you're gonna like share stories or like, because if you ever go alone, I think that's when you really like you got to be creative.
I agree.
But like when you go with other people,
I guess that's that. Yeah, I never thought of alone, right?
Yeah.
Where it's a group of people and you're sitting around the campfire. There's nothing. I love that. Sitting around a campfire, the smoke randomly changing because of the wind flow in your face. You don't get mosquitoes because there's smoke, but then you're coughing and there's you have to experience that. I feel like that's something that you should.
And it's a struggle, right? In a sense, like
100%. But it's
uncomfortable.
100% uncomfortable. You're like, come on, but it's something that you should experience. And even with that, it's experience, right? It's confidence. It's doing it once and then you learn. I mean, the more you do it, the more you camp, the more you hike, the more you almost do anything, you gain some knowledge. The more you hike, the more you know, right? I mean, I think it's
to refine it to something that I think is the proper way of saying is like failing is probably the best way of learning.
We can get into that. I think failing is the best way to learn.
And before we go into that, like you had said, there's barriers into something, or like barriers into camping. There's like certain things, right?
Yeah.
Or like being outdoors. Let's talk about what was your game plan indoor? How did you achieve such success and like losing so much weight and like being where you're at today? Because it is incredible. Like, what was it? Because it's crazy to say, but like for me,
it's weird.
It's not an easy formula. It's not something that like just anyone whips out and like, yep, I'm gonna be slimmer tomorrow. And that's kind of, in my eyes, if you were to like speed up everything, that's kind of how it seems like, right?
Yeah.
What was that like? How did that happen? Or like, what were the steps? Give us the recipe.
Yeah, and so it was rough for me because I would say I've gone through, like I was saying, I've been at the doctors for my whole life almost, just for fear of you're a heavyset kid. You're a heavyset kid. You're a heavyset kid. Blah blah blah. Stuff like that. I've been through that. Like, no fear, right? It's like Danger Will Robinson. Right? There's a certain point where you fall off, right? Mm-hmm. And so I did that almost my whole life.
What?
Just went to doctors, heard that, and just moved on. Kind of just lived
Ignored
my life.
it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a kid. I don't care, right? Even my parents kind of telling me, and this is, it's like even Weight Watchers. I've tried everything, probably. Back in the day, when I became of mind, I guess you would say, of like, oh, this is probably not healthy to some degree. Like, I should change in some form. Tried Weight Watchers, tried Atkins, tried this, tried that, tried doing nothing, right? And really it was, I got to the point where it was like, even when I was like, they say the best thing is journal. You probably heard that, right? Where it's like,
journal, I haven't actually, no, but did you journal?
Journal everything you eat is what they say,
okay,
right?
Yeah,
right?
I'd never heard that.
So journal everything you eat, right? And it's like, so that was like, I did that once, right? When I was young, I was 14, 13. Young kid. I would say that's pretty young. You probably don't have to worry about much stuff, right?
That's like 10% of your life.
Yeah, exactly. So, right? Don't care. Went to a children's hospital for Weight Watchers, right? Stuff like that, where it's like, journal what you eat. And I could see myself like avoiding the journal or skipping stuff. Like, I ate that.
You're cheating yourself type of thing.
Cheating it. And so, I learned that in my head, I know. But I'm a child, right? Who cares? So it's kind of interesting to see stuff like that in where I went wrong. And not even wrong, it's just like you didn't have to be so dramatic or drastic. And the change here, I did it drastic because I had to. At a certain point, I got used to a certain lifestyle, right? It was like, eat so much, eat this, candy, blah, sweets, treats, anything, right? I was used to that, right?
Okay, so if you were to give a tip to yourself when...
in the past, right? If I would say...
At your heaviest, or...
Yeah.
How do I phrase it?
No, that's...
What steps or routines, habits did you establish when you decided, you know what? I don't want to be at this weight no more. For whatever motivation that was, and or that also could be the reason why you did it, right?
Yeah.
What drove peak to where you're at now? Because, my God, night and day.
It was... I would agree. And it's weird because in my head, and I thought about this many times, I still don't see myself as smaller, skinnier, anything.
Dude, okay,
which is
hold
crazy.
on. It's
weird,
it's
but
like
it's
a
true.
virus. It's like a virus at that point. Because at times, and not to bring the story to me, but like at times I feel that same thing as well. Where like I'm like, damn, I'm not. In the sense, I think it's the comparison is a thief of joy type of situation.
Sure.
Because I'm like, my insecurity was like acne or skin issues, right? And like to this day, like there's days where I have great skin, or like I'm like, this is fucking awesome, right? And I'm still like devaluing myself, right? Or I'm still like in my head imagining almost like who I was in high school, or the worst times. And the same with you. You're like in your head, you're still imagining you or yourself in the worst of your like weight moments, right?
Yeah.
But like in the sense, it's like you don't have that. It's almost like a phantom limb type of shit, right? Where like it's just like this is you imagined you having an arm, and then they got cut off, and it's like, why is it not there type of thing, right?
why is that? Because I agree, it's there, and I thought about it.
I don't think we should question it, but like the more thing is like we should almost enrich ourselves in like being confident in ourselves. Like this is someone recently told me this, where it was like, stop feeding like the negative wolf, right, and start feeding the positive one, because the negative one is like, you're fat, you're ugly, no one's gonna like you, right? But if you and that wolf is gonna grow to be this like large, big, nasty demon. But if you feed the nice wolf and be like, dude, you got this, you're in better shape than you were. But why do you remember
90% of the bad things and 10% of the good
there's
things?
a term for that. There's like a term for that, and probably someone's gonna be like, oh my god, that's what it is.
But right in the comments.
But
it's like, come on, like why?
We remember the negative shit because those are things that we should probably not repeat. You know, like if you were in a community, it's like, I fucked up because I broke the water jug, so I should probably not do that again. You know, like shit like that. I don't know. I'm trying to piece it together, but there's like a negative bias or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's true though, but it exists, and it's weird. I heard something, and it was even like that, where it's like, I lost weight. I'm not gonna say so much weight. I just lost weight,
dude.
But I lost weight,
fucking
right?
Awesome,
And it was like, it doesn't matter if it was 10 pounds, 20 pounds, right? Whatever. But I lost weight, and it was like, it just changed the problems, which was kind of weird to me. But it was like, it was kind of true. And I was like, dang.
How about this? Like, we're always making problems for ourselves.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. It's us. It's in our heads.
Yeah.
Which humans are crazy, right?
No, we're always making problems in ourselves. Like, there's never going to be a time where we're going to be perfect. Or at least, that is like, if you don't have the right mindset, you're never going to be perfect, right? You're never, or like, even perfect is the wrong word to use, but you're never going to be like enough for yourselves. So like, you got to be okay with like the failure and like not being perfect, because it's never going to happen. Like, no one ever. I don't think I've ever.
We're going to strive for it. I think that's okay to strive for it, because even like that, the weirdest thing in my head is like, and it's hard to get through, because I have a bunch of people, fit, healthy people around me, which is hard. They're like, don't use them as a reference. Like, it's you, and if you were better the next day, that's a success, right? One step forward is you, like, that's better, right? And it's even like me. I have a bunch of fit, healthy, even you. I'm like, dang, this man is going good, or he's doing great, and I'm like, shoot, I'm not that.
Does that motivate you, or does that demotivate you? Like, be honest, because like, I feel like at times I do.
Oh, you do. It motivates me.
If you have the right mind, because you have the right mindset. Yeah.
If I saw you probably 2 years ago, I would say no. Which is weird. Okay.
How do you switch that? How do you train 2-year Henry to where you're at now? Like 2 years ago, Henry. How do you switch that mindset? Like, what is that? Like, what is that recipe that like just made it be like, yep, I got it. Yep.
I don't know that there is, and
there has to be. There has to be. Okay, maybe I'm digging at this point.
No, please dig. And there's an answer, right? And it's just like, there has to be an answer, and I'd love to know it. And there's a certain point, because I've seen it too, where it's like, I've seen a post or something, and it's like, I could do that. I could hate that. I hate that, or like, that could be me. And it's weird, because I have conflicting viewpoints in my head, where it's like, don't compare yourself to other people. It's you, the battle, and that's what I try and tell myself every day. It's like, if you get up and do something, it's great. Absolutely, one step forward, one step even lateral progress. Don't try and go backwards, right? It's you take one step in the morning, it's you, right? That's good. It's you're battling yourself. The minute you kind of can grasp that, which I'm not good at it, but I still love, you try, right? Where I'm like, I did better than yesterday. I got up. I did this. You know what I mean? That's a hard thing. But I see people like, even like that, we're whole different frames, right? Where me and you will never be the same.
We have different backgrounds, different experiences,
everything.
Different
But I see it, I'm
context.
like, that man can do it, I can do it, right? In my head, I'm like, what's the difference? And so that's motivating now. If I would have saw it before, I was like, there's no way in heck I can get that. No way, right? And now it's, the mindset is, I could prove him wrong. I could prove that wrong. I could do it myself. And I think that you have to find something you care about.
That person, that thing you care about is.
Hold on. No. Wait, there was a word there. Person I heard that.
That person should be yourself.
No, you said person you care about. I feel like that plays a role.
that person you care about should be yourself, in the sense of like, the more you love
that was
yourself,
a word that like that mattered, right? I think it's a person. I think a person matters.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
So what person made you change?
That's not happening, right?
You're not going to disclose it
no,
here?
No, that's got to be stayed under lock.
That's fine. That's fine.
But, yeah,
but you think, I mean, whatever motivates you, let it motivate you, right? Like, you don't have to say it, but like, any motivation is some motivation. I think that's what matters. Or like, not matters, but like...
I think it matters, right?
I don't think it matters what drives you. It's just like, anything. Let anything drive the freaking car. Like, let it drive. Let whoever drive the car, you know?
Yeah.
So like,
I think my experience. So I'll give mine because it's different, but that's how it worked for me. Is I didn't care up till a certain point.
Okay.
Person changed it. Okay. Boom. Game over. Maximum overdrive.
Yeah.
And that's when it happened. And that was, and there was a certain point where it didn't matter about the person, and it turned into I'm doing it for me. So it was weird. It switched.
Dude, that's how it starts.
So
that's how it started. Because, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I just cut you off, but like
the way it
goes is like, it's like almost think about it like after a breakup. Like after you break up with someone, you're like, you know what? I'm almost gonna do this almost out of insult to make that person feel jealous,
mad or
right?
hate
I'm gonna make them feel bad for not choosing me or like not going the route that I expected, and that is the ignition and/or the fire, the spark.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
You need something in your life.
And then that starts the fire, and you're like, oh my God, I love this. I love who I'm becoming. I'm loving what I'm feeling. Like, it really is almost a physical thing. Like, at first, it's more of an emotional, like, you know what? They made a mistake. It wasn't me. There was nothing wrong with me. I'm going to make myself better. And you start making yourself better. And then actually, you know, you're like, I don't even care about that person anymore. Like, I just want to make myself better and better and better and better and better. And as you mentioned before, like, a big philosophy for me is, like, I want to wake up better than I was yesterday. I want to wake up better than I was yesterday.
I want to be lateral, which means I don't want to go backwards. I want to be better or the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what are your standards for that? What would you say your standards are? Because we could say there's an A and a B, but how do you define an A and a B? Like, what makes your standards? No. Like, try to define it for me.
So from what I've been through in my life, right? Okay. Mine is weight. 100%. Right? And
it's physical. Let's just not define it by weight, but it's a physical thing.
It's weird. I would say it's physical. Yeah, 100% physical. And because it's weird because you have to gain muscle. Like, there's muscle gain and there's everything and there's fat gain. There's literally, but mine is, and that's where I know it's negative and not
at what point does that, like, at what point are you satisfied with?
Never, ever. Like, and that's
crazy.
The problem. And so
there's so many realms to like achieve and get better at.
In my head, I have a goal, right? That I'm good for. So I would like at some point it's the BMI. I want to be under obese.
Are you not?
No.
Are you serious with the
No way.
You see, that chart is bullshit.
It's
that
wrong.
Chart is bullshit.
It's wrong. I know
there's so many bullshits to that because I technically also am overweight.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I think I am overweight because it's overweight then obese.
Yeah,
so don't trust that thing.
I know,
don't let a marker
in my head. That's
a graph is judging your your persona. So granted, I'm telling you, and you're experiencing different things. So like,
no, it's true. But there's certain things, and I know it's wrong, right? And in my head, and I can't. There's a weird in my head. There's a weird thing that's saying you're stupid. Like, what are you doing? You're wrong. Like, you're good, right? Certain things where it's like you got to do this, but I'm like, I want to see it. I want to get there. I want to see it because there's a certain point, even in me, through weight loss or anything, unhealthy. It becomes unhealthy where the minute I get for my frame, I'll go back to bone weight or you're big boned. The minute I get under 200 pounds, probably is not going to be unhealthy. It's probably going to be unhealthy for me, right? Yeah. And so
the opposite side of it.
Yeah, where you're like almost anorexic, body dysmorphia, right? All that stuff where you're caring too much, right? Where it's like you're not eating proper amounts, you're not doing that. What I did to get where I am is not healthy. I'm gonna just say that.
No, hold on, because I think it is like.
I don't think it was.
Society. Okay, granted, you haven't disclosed that. Yeah. So, from my perspective of what I think you have done to get there, I want to say it's something that...
So, let me tell you before you answer.
Yeah, but also, like, I don't think we got to that, and that's something that people would want to know. Like, how did you go from that way to the place you're at right now? Because anyone would trade where you were at then to where you're at now. So give us details. No philosophy here. We want details.
Yeah. No, and so I've tried many things, right? I used to do this thing. My favorite thing, I'll say to this day, I used to have this. There was this Denise Austin routine. It was a 30-minute like exercise, like blah blah blah. I used to do that. And I was like certain things like that. And then it was
Denise Austin. Okay.
It was Denise Austin. It was an exercise routine, and I was like, boom, half an hour, burn so many calories, right? And so that's where I started. And then it was just like acknowledging what I'm eating, right? Try and eat healthier, right? And it was like, it was in the long term where, I've done Weight Watchers, I've done that. I was like, I'm not acknowledging what I ate, right? And then the big change for me, it was like, look at what you eat, which is hard to say because a lot of people don't like it, but it was like, look, try and do the calculations for calories in my head. That's when it changed for me, which is, it doesn't work for everybody, but I get it. I got that weird formula of calories in, calories out. And it was kind of, so that's when it really changed for me, is the way I started it was, and we'll go back to, we played the Volo League, right, of kickball. And in my head, it was as simple as, I don't want to be the slowest person running around the bases.
Dang.
Bro, that's where it started.
It's a motivation. It's like,
that's where it was.
Or a passion or a drive is what really drove you to that. Because prior to that, you would have been like, no, I'm cool with where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't care. Which was weird. It was fear of being judged, fear of being like certain things like that. I was like, I don't want these people I work with every day.
Were you uncomfortable in those points when you were out there playing kickball? And what I mean is just like uncomfortable in the sense of like you didn't feel your fullest self, because I think that should almost wrap around to what I was saying. It's just like, I do like to put myself in those uncomfortable places because I learned the best from it. Because you could have easily been like, you know what, I'm more comfortable saying no to kickball and going and chilling at my house or doing Pokemon Go and like doing these things, because it's a comfort thing. You're like, okay, I'm comfortable here, but you know what, this is uncomfortable and I'm gonna try it.
So I would say no for one reason.
Damn, okay, this is good.
No,
please tell me.
And why it's that is because I started beforehand because I knew I'd be uncomfortable. So I think before I ever played the first sport with all of the people, being active with other present people, I already lost 20 pounds. I was already in it.
Oh, so before I asked you, hey, do you want to play kickball?
The minute you asked it, the season didn't start for another couple weeks. I was like, heck no.
No way.
Heck no. I'm grunting every night.
But you wanted to play.
Yeah. So
that's
when it happened. It was like, boom, I signed up, I put my credit card, I got this stuff in.
Yeah.
Every night, I'm in there, I'm working, I'm not going to be slow.
Damn.
So, down 10 pounds for the first week, solid. Down 15 pounds, oh, heck yeah, I'm down 5 pounds, that's a good number.
Yeah.
Down 20 pounds, heck yeah, let's go. Down 22 pounds, let's go. Still less, faster. Boom.
Dude, I want to put a picture of you, because I have a picture of you from kickball season.
Timestamp, bro, let's go.
Timestamp, let's put this right now. There's a picture of Henry. We all took a group picture together, and then where you're at now, night and day, bro. It's crazy, but again, let's get to the details of how you did it. So, you said dieting or motivation you spoke on, right? Like have a motivation to why you want to lose weight, but like physically, what did you do? Because you can't just shed weight just because you were motivated to I'm motivated to lose weight. Bam, it's gone. What physical things did you eat less? Did you work out more? Did you eat certain things? Well, give us.
So I'll jump into it. Yeah. And I'm gonna say it wasn't healthy, and to just as an asterisk, because I did it. I'm gonna say poorly because I didn't really know, and I was just testing and kind of that. But so I probably when I started and I guess full transparency, right? Is on some birthday, my parents got me Nutrisystem, which is a meal kit, which it was like a meal, you do this meals. It was like, this is to be healthy, this is to lose weight. It's kind of like Weight Watchers, right? Where it's I've been through all of it, Atkins, I've tried it all, right? And it was like, you eat these meals every day, you fill in this stuff, you'll lose weight. I was like, I was so pissed at my parents. I was like, are you kidding me? That's not a present. That's like a death sentence.
It's like a backslap.
Yeah, I was like, how dare you? My parents
backhanded.
My parents knew we were serious, right? They cared, right? They're like, it's unhealthy. Like, my dad kind of caused it, right? We love sweets and stuff, but we gotta try and get it under control. And they're like, not fair. I see you eating only salads, but of course the problem was I've been to Olive Garden once, ate 7 bowls of salads. Like, that's unhealthy, right?
Yeah, moderation
no
was
matter
not
how
there.
much salad you eat, it's still unhealthy, right? You put that dressing on, it's still pounds and pounds and pounds, right? So I've done that before where I was like, I have a picture probably back in the old day of Applebee's, half price apps, filled up whole tape, like 4-person tables of like boneless buffalo wings. So I can eat, still can eat. To this day.
Get us the recipe, Henry. We want the recipe.
Yeah.
So did you stick to the Nutrisystem or whatever that was?
That's what I'm saying. It's unhealthy because the Nutrisystem I think worked, right? And it was what it was. It was breakfast. It was lunch. It was snack, dinner, snack. Is about what it like rolled out to be. And it was like, cool, this is it. And it said for the first week you do this. You just eat this stuff. And it was like 1,200 calories. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so really long term, the meat and potatoes
Give
of
us
it
the meat and potatoes.
Is calorie count. Is basically in my head. I don't write it down, but I keep track of it. I'm like, oh, you ate this. So I give an approximate. So that's where I started it.
So when you said, okay, sorry, go.
Yeah, no.
When you said there was something unhealthy about where you were then to now, what was that thing that you consider unhealthy?
Eating in excess without knowing, right? And so it was, even when I was dieting before in college, right, where I was like, I lost 50 pounds, I was still like, I would cook a whole thing of Tyson chicken patties, and I'd eat 6 of them, and technically 6 of them was 2,000 calories, or what, you know what I mean? So it was like not knowing how much you were intaking and your body was burning and such like that, right? And so kind of just, in my mind, I don't have the numbers, but I have an approximate, which gets me there, and that's what helped. So the reason I say it was unhealthy, and the big asterisk, is because I didn't really follow the instructions, and that's why it went so drastic. Because with Nutrisystem, they say first week is like the starter week, right, where you eat this blah 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 blah, you eat like 1,300 calories, and it's just those. And then they say after that you introduce, with your snack, you eat a banana, you eat some vegetables, you eat a salad, you eat something with it, right? And then during dinner, you add a loaf of bread, you add something, so you kind of ramp up. Pretty much what I did is I just kept it low.
I have to go to the restroom. I really do.
Yeah.
I fucking gotta go, bro.
Unbelievable. Cut. Can we cut it? Cut it.
We will cut that shit,
bro. I gotta pee too. So.
And we're back. We went to the bathroom. It was much needed. I don't know if you could tell from the feed, but
nice.
Liquid is running through the system.
I think he poured more for me, but I like it.
Slightly, man. Come on, don't complain about little uncircumstances here.
Chip, cheerio.
All right. So the question I should have asked from the beginning, because I do appreciate you going into details about going into it, but what is literally your daily routine now? Because I want to say your daily routine now is what led you to be where you're at right now. And that is my assumption. By all means, I could be wrong, but like I want to say that your system, your habits that you have created right now have brought you to this. And that is, in a sense, let's synthesize the secrets right here. Yeah. Put them down. As soon as you wake up, what do you do?
Yeah, so we'll give the daily routine, and it's modified, right? And so make this pretty, I guess, however it works, right? But basically, so it started with me. I'll give a little history, but it started at night running. So the way I started cutting calories, so I was just paying attention for calories, right? And so knowing I was taking in, and that's why I'm saying it's unhealthy, 1,200, 1,300. Mm-hmm. Literally that bare bone, right? Where that's not healthy, right? For a week or such there. But so I was taking in, let's say even 1,500, right? 1,500 calories. That's pretty much under most people's maintenance calories. So I do that for a day. That's lunch, dinner, everything. So I do that, and then I work my 8 hours a day, which is whatever. And really I put ankle weights on, which it adds up, but I put ankle weights on every day. The minute I wake up and get back, I put ankle weights on so long, and I wear it until I work out. And so what it is I work out with them on, and I do a half hour to hour like core strength, boom, workout routine, kind of that. And the way it started is I do that, and then I'd have dinner, and then sit for 2 hours, kind of fast, and then I'd run. And I started with, I think I probably at one point couldn't run half a block. You know what I mean? It was without being winded, without being tired.
You are how tall right now?
I'm
Or
6'4".
at that time, 6'4", at...
Let's say 3...
At the time that you started
340, right?
6'4", 340.
6'4", 340, right?
Yeah.
Right, and and I'd run a block.
Running.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so...
What was your goal at the time?
Probably 280.
To get, or your goal was a weight?
Yeah, it was weight. It was like try and get down. And in my head, I guess goal is running wise. So I always had a couple goals, and that's what pushed me forward in terms of physical stuff, right? Do a pull-up, run a mile without stopping. Mm-hmm. So that was huge for me, right? And that was the biggest thing. It actually probably pushed me forever. I remember back in high school playing baseball, basketball, doing where you do suicides.
Suicides.
Do you know what those are? Where you the free throw line
20,
and
30,
boom,
40,
boom, and back. So
30,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Always last person. Always that. Always slow, right? And so it was like, make a mile, run a mile. Because I played in baseball, and it was like 4x9 or 5x9, right? Which was like run around the baseball field so many times before 9 minutes, and I'm not happening for big old Henry. I'm gonna say big old. I was gonna say little old, but big old Henry. So it was like run a mile without stopping. So that was my goal. So it was kind of that motivation, mental motivation was like, yo, run a mile. Okay, push it. Run a block. Okay, solid, cool. Run this, run that, and it was like run a quarter, and then it was. I really started without tracking it. It was like just run until I'm tired, run until I'm tired, run until I'm tired, and then it was like okay, and then started turning into apps and stuff. Oh, that was a quarter mile. That's cool. Okay, run a quarter mile. I'll do that for a week. Run a half a mile. Run a 3/4 of a mile. Run a So I just kept slowly running as much as I could, just to see till one day. Boom, hit a mile. I was like, that's cool. So I was still doing that, and that eating like 1,500 calories, low calorie count.
What did you eat? Like what was your daily meals, if you were to describe them?
So I did a weird combination.
What was your breakfast?
So
did you have breakfast?
So I did, kind of. I would call it lunch. So I call it breakfast, but it was lunch, right? Where I kind of started doing a fast. Because I heard that online, just like a fool, right? It's
not a fool, because there's a lot of
but
science behind
it. So
it.
I'm calling me a fool because I didn't really calculate it or anything like that. I didn't really research it. I was like, screw it. I'm gonna eat from 11 to 8 at night. Mm-hmm. Boom. That's what I did. So at 11 o'clock, I ate and I was on Nutrisystem at the time, so I ate and it was a breakfast bar. Solid. 11 o'clock, breakfast bar. Then it was like 12:30 snack, 1:30 lunch, which is because they had categorized it by lunch. Then there was like 2 o'clock snack, 5:30 dinner. Boom. That's it. That's all I ate the whole day. So it was something like that, right? About that, and it tallied up to be like 200 to 250 a meal, and then it was like 1,500 calories, right? And I was like, boom, that's it. Drink water. 0-calorie drinks, diet soda, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Boom. That was it, the whole day. And at 3 o'clock, when I got done from work, or 4 o'clock, right? Boom, I did my half hour to hour workout, which was like strength training, right? That's weights. At a certain point, put ankle weights on, walked around blocks, stuff like that. Boom, ate my dinner, fasted, ran a mile, ran as much as I could at 8:30 at night. Now, to this day, I wake up at 5:30, wake up at 5:30 every day, and I'm running 5-6 miles every day. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of do the same thing. 11 o'clock I eat. but I eat more, right? And really, it's I'm not on Nutrisystem. I'm not on a thing. I make my own thing. I make eggs. I do this. I kind of count my own things. I'm like, that's about this many calories. That's about this many. I'm still kind of tracking in my head, right? Where it's like you're eating around 1,500 calories a day, and you do that, and then at 4 o'clock, do my workout. Whatever that means. I don't really know how much that burns or anything, but that's strength training. That's bench. That's.
Can I try to synthesize like what you just told me?
Yeah.
Into like a thing.
Yeah.
So, trying to keep it or like trying to absorb everything.
Yeah.
The key was burn more than you ate.
Oh, absolutely.
That is the key to losing weight. So you woke up and you did a thing called fasting. And there is some research that should be done before you just go and throw yourself at it. Like
that's why I said I did it wrong, right? I didn't really do research.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't do research, but
it worked.
You're still alive. You're still here. Like he's still here. Henry's not dead. So it's something that is feasible. But I highly recommend to anything that we talk about is doing some research because
I agree.
We're not going to be 100% accurate with anything here, but Henry tried, in a sense, what I would put a word in or a term is intermittent fasting.
Yeah, agreed.
So there's a certain window where you are eating. So he was only taking a certain amount of calories in, whether it be... You describe whatever calories you're taking in.
Maintenance calories, losing weight, gaining weight, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
yeah, exactly. You could gain weight by eating more calories than you are burning, and that is something that body weight lifter or people who
lifters,
Yeah, if you are into physique, that is something that you should do. But if you're on the opposite,
other people too.
Yeah, if you are like not trying to do none of that, like eat minimal calories and burn whatever you can. So that's where the exercise and diet come into play. So if I am gonna synthesize this, you start eating at a certain time, let's say 11, and you stop eating at 8 p.m. 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. From that window, you eat a certain amount of calories. Let's say 1,500. That sounds like a good number, reasonable number, right?
Probably not. Do a calculator. Get your real rate.
By all means, yeah.
Absolutely. That's low. That's low.
And also, like, by all means, like, I don't think anyone in this room is, like, certified to give advice, but this is our own personal account.
Do your own research, right?
This is our own personal account. And what has worked for Henry is, you know what? In this 8-hour, or not 8-hour, 12-hour period, let's say, I'm going to eat a certain amount of calories. And I'm also going to supplement this amount of calories with workout. At first, he started running at night. Block was like, big breaths.
Yeah.
After that, you did a block and a half. Then you did 2. You worked yourself to a mile. Because what I'm trying to get at is like, it's not overnight. Like this was like a process. Like
we're talking a year plus, right?
Yeah, and this is but a year plus in your 80, 90 years that you're gonna live. That's a small percentage. You gotta put that work in for that small percentage of time. Small, incremental, right?
Nothing happened instant.
Nothing.
I wanted it to.
That instant gratification is ingrained in us. But at the end of the day, it's like, dude, if I'm understanding this, is like control what you eat, make it so that it's less than what you are burning each day, and automatically you should see weight going down. And obviously, like, there is a lot of unhealthy routes going through it, right? Like you could easily like starve yourself in negative ways of like, oh, I'm just not gonna eat for 3 days and become anorexic or bulimic.
That's the caveat.
And this is like, that's not, that's almost like an instant gratification type of situation where like you want to see it immediately.
I did that.
So you want to like,
it's like not good.
Yeah.
And there's a certain point where I tried, and I'm not gonna say I tried that, but I ate really slim, and it was like
it's patience.
Well, it didn't help me. It was adverse effects, right? Where it was like no energy, no this, no that. I was like, wow, you're hurting yourself when you're actually cutting that deep.
You got to stomp the brakes in a sense. It's like,
that's a weird realization too.
We're going too fast, like I know you're seeing good results, but like you're going too fast.
You need food for energy,
because I don't know. Like, I've never experienced anorexia or
bulimia,
right?
Bulimia. Yeah.
I'll get that word. I will. Bulimia. In the sense of, like, I would assume you, like, reduce energy and you're just, like, sluggish because you don't have anything burning in the furnace, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
But I guess to try to, like, compress everything you just said right now was eat healthy in moderation and work out hard in moderation, which is kind of hard to, like, encapsulate.
The weird thing is you don't even have to work out. That's why
you're right.
With I went to extreme because I'm gonna say my transition was, I'm gonna say, phenomenal and really quick.
It is phenomenal, but
it was because I pushed it to stupid limits and almost not healthy limits, where I've done the same thing, and I've seen it at this point in my weight loss, right? Where it's like, just control what you're eating, you'll still lose weight. And so all of that happens just by controlling what you're eating, right? And there's a weird realization, I don't know who said it, but somewhere out there somebody said it, and it's stuck with me forever. It's easier to eat less than work out more. That shit, that hit me. And I was
Say it again.
It's easier to eat less than work out more.
One more time.
It's easier to eat less than work out more. And I was like, dang, that hurts, right? And it's true, right? Where it was like, you don't have to exert yourself so much. You don't have to do what I did, right? Where it's like, now I'm running miles a day, right? You don't have to do that. You eat under your maintenance calorie, you're going to lose weight over time, right? Control what you eat. Come on, man. I know you can do it. Your maintenance calories, put it in a calculator. They're all over the internet. Mm-hmm. You say you have 2,000 calories, boom. Eat 1,800, you lose half a pound or whatever a week, right? Look up your stats yourself. That's nowhere is that defined, right? But you'll lose weight. And so that's I guess that would be my one suggestion, is kind of realize that. And that's one thing I didn't want to do. In my youth, and even now, it was like, look at calories. Now, everything I buy, I look at calories. It's weird. I'm like, ooh, bag of popcorn, 100 calories for a bag. Let's go, right? Where it's like, bag of chips, holy heck, that's 900 calories. That's ridiculous. That's almost more than I eat in a day, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's not so much as I calculate everything, but I look at it, and I'm cognizant of it, right? And so something like that is just, something to be aware of. And one thing they say is, don't detract what you do. When I run in the morning, I burn 1,000 calories. That's crazy. I love your input on that. I have been doing that for a long time. What's your thought? I burn 1,000 calories. I eat 2,000 a day. Technically, my intake is 1,000. I stopped gaining. I stopped losing. What's up with that? Is that muscle gain? Is that other stuff?
All right. So if I'm understanding the question right, is also like, we need to state this clearly. Henry wakes up at like 5:15, let's say. Yeah. Gets his gear on.
Put my 3 layers on.
3 layers, like
20 degree,
whatever it takes to go outside. He runs 5 miles. If you've ever run 5 miles in your life, you would know that, like, in the morning, as soon as you wake up, that is not something you really are like, oh my God, yes, 5 miles. I'm going to wake up today and be so amazing. Like, that's not something that you wake up passionately about. And Henry has, through that, like, he went from a block to 5 miles now, right? And the question he posed was, he runs 5 miles now. He approximates that calorie burn to be 1,000. He eats about 2,000 calories a day. So his caloric intake now is 1,000, and not accounting his metabolic. And just if people don't know what metabolic is, it's just like if you were just to sit down in a room somewhere and just be still for one day, the amount of calories you burn at that moment, that is your metabolic intake, you know? And what he's saying is, like, he is now, in a sense, stagnant.
That's a good word, right?
He plateaued.
Plateaued.
You said plateaued?
Plateau. I think I said plateaued.
Okay, my bad.
Get us in the comments. Plateaued. Right.
Yeah, plateaued.
Maybe I just said it quick. Plateaued, right? Yeah.
He has, in a sense, plateaued. And I would say maybe it's, I mean, not maybe, it's got to mean that you've met the equilibrium of like intake to burn. Even though you think maybe your body has gotten so efficient at like running that like now it's not running at 1,000 that you would just, the average body. Because like, you got to think about it. You got to, in a sense, rationalize what your body is doing now. Like your body now is like,
tell me I gotta run more.
No. It's more about being comfortable with yourself more.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say, but
that's true.
Yeah,
that's a huge
because
point.
At one point, like if your desire is to be skinny, you're never gonna be at the skinniest, and that's the thing. Is like
skinny.
It's not that. Right? It's not that. No, it's like your desires.
I want to be under a certain weight, which is what?
What is? I mean, you don't have to tell. You don't have to say anything
no, it's
here.
Good.
Like
I don't care at this point. But so I started 360, right? So I'll give these numbers, right? And so right now I'm 225. That's pretty much where I weigh in all the time. I would love to be under 210 just to see it. That 15 pounds never happens. No matter how much I do.
You know what I would tell you, bro? Start like lifting weights, bro, because like
it's weird. You gain it and then lose it.
No, because at one point you're gonna want to be even heavier. Like at the size that you are, you're 6'4". Like
I'm pretty strong though.
I'm not underestimating that, but like, bro, just working out with weights and like at the end of the day, like numbers are numbers, bro. Like what? If I was to ask you, what is the reason for you wanting to lose weight? What is the reason?
There's no reason.
What is your current motivation? No, there is. Because I'll tell you the reasons for me for like wanting to look good.
Please make me feel better.
The reason I want to like work out and the reason that I work out is more for like at this point, like at one point I was like, I want to reach new maximums. I want to be the best weightlifter at this. I want to, and my weight, like lift this. But like I've come to realize it, and it's just like, it was more of about impression and like how I impress the opposite sex, being girls. Like I want to be like
we haven't hit that
person.
At all. Hold on. So can we go a little your backstory? Because I want to know.
About what? Okay, ask the question.
No. I think it's important at this point. We haven't touched it at all.
Yeah.
Your backstory. Were you ever a scrawny kid? Did you ever?
Yeah.
So now, so this man's ripped, right? This man, he's good, right? And so I look at him. He posts a picture on whatever IG, anything like that. I'm like, this man, what is he doing? I'm like, I would love a 6-pack. I would love a 4-pack.
Yeah.
Give me a break. And so the difference is, I started fat.
I started skinny.
You started skinny. For me, I'm like, I gotta lose skin. I gotta lose everything. So it's huge. So everybody else, you're feeling my pain because I know. Because fat is, I'm not gonna say harder, but it's different.
It is.
Skinny,
it is.
Skinny, you gain. And so this is something we can have this debate. Do you think it's harder to lose weight or gain weight?
I don't think.
Everybody I've heard, so I'm going to answer this before you
answer. No, let me answer.
Okay,
let me answer it.
Bring it.
Is it easier to gain weight or is it easier to lose weight? With my circumstances and what I have like available now, I think it's way easier. Actually, no, like it just depends on your motivation, your mindset. Because like I initially wanted to say like it's easier to lose weight because for me, like I understand the rules of intermittent fasting and like only allowing a certain amount of calories in my system in a certain amount of window, right?
Yeah.
And like it's only a matter of time before like that weight starts to go kunk, kunk, like your body starts consuming itself, right? And again, like it's not something that is negative or positive. It's just like you gotta research, you gotta look into that.
Yeah.
But in the same way that your body goes down, in the like if I eat less calories, if I eat more calories, I start going up. So my story, like as soon as I got into college, I think I was like 125 pounds going.
Are you freaking kidding?
I was pretty skinny.
125?
Yeah, I was pretty skinny.
I was 3 of you in high school.
Yeah.
In high school.
Senior year of high school, I was a scrawny, not even scrawny, like I would still consider myself like pretty like muscular, you know, like I still had that little sense of confidence. Yeah, I still had that little sense of confidence, right?
Like you break you like a twig.
Yeah. But
like
like
in the football field.
I went into school and I think for reals, like I was like, damn, I'm trying to like look nice, like I'm trying to be nice, right? I'm trying to compete with all these other dudes.
Can you answer me that?
It's always gonna be about girls, and for girls, it's always gonna be about boys, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Like as much as we want to like shy away from it, but like that's our evolutionary like path. It's like we want to like, in a sense, create identical twins of ourselves through another person, and like. That is how you duplicate shit. And, like, I didn't create that system, but that is what it is. So, like, in a sense, that's why we want to look good. Because, in a sense, like, if we didn't have to create children or we didn't have that urge to replicate ourselves, we could have... Let's just sit the fuck down. Let's just watch Netflix. Let's just consume. Let's just... I'll work.
Job of the Hut.
I'll work. I'll close the computer. I'll go to Netflix. Bam. I'm comfortable. I'm good. But, like, that's not in our nature, right? But... The thing that worked for me was the opposite was like I started as an RA, like I had access to like.
Was it college for you that
college? Okay. It wasn't that it switched it, but it provided this accessibility.
When did you start like working out, like
college?
Working out, college.
Because no, actually in high school, one of my friends, his name is Matthew Trujillo, and he knows who he is. Yeah. Like we would go to the gym at 24 Hour Fitness right next to my house. Ooh. I even got pulled over and got my first like ticket going to that place.
We'll caveat that.
We'll caveat that, bookmark that. But like I remember going there, working out, and like I would say from like junior year of high school, I had the mindset of like I want to work out, I want to be fit. Like it was from a young age, and like I would say I don't know what exactly inspired it, but like I was like I'm trying to be like the most optimal, right? And
did that come from somewhere?
I would say like maybe my mom. Like my mom was always fit. It's gotta come from
somewhere.
No, it has to. Yeah, I agree.
Everything. So
bro, it might be like a mirror thing, like just looking at yourself in the mirror and be like, yup, okay, you know.
So it's hard, and it's hard to say for anything, for podcasts, for freaking this, there's a certain in a mindset when somebody asks you a question, you know the answer, which is hard to say sometimes. Where did wanting to be fit come from for you? Being strong.
I would say like muscles? Maybe like just improve, like
it's hard to say.
Impressing girls, like that probably would be like my default answer was like just to impress girls, but.
Why did you want to impress girls like back in the day?
Because like who doesn't want the attention and or like the love from like.
And that was high school.
The opposite.
Or
yeah, high school.
That's understandable, right?
Because like easily, like if I didn't want that.
The answer? I hate that, man.
It's not. I don't. In a sense that you can't hate that. It is. But like, dang. I think at one point, like as you were saying, at one point there was one person that drove you to be that person, right?
Yeah.
But then by that person driving you to be like, I want to be better, you almost discovered yourself. If that makes any sense. Like you're like, oh, I'm trying to like impress these girls or whatever. But then you start working out, you see results, and you start loving yourself for like who you are. Like that for me, I think was what triggered it. Like I was like, dude, like, cause
when was that for you?
Cause dude, I was in middle school.
I
was a skater kid.
Dang.
Hung out with the skater kids.
Middle school?
Yeah.
Damn, that's impressive.
And then freshman year, like registration came around, and there was this chance to register for like high school football. Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm a fucking. Or actually,
I will be on the football team.
Some of my friends, and it's kind of crazy to say because there's a lot of instances where it's just it almost mimics what I'm gonna say, where most of my friends joined this thing that I also joined. Most of my friends, or like people that I admired and or people that I
joined because of you?
No. Because they joined, I joined.
Ah, okay.
So they joined football. I joined football too, and I was like, "Yup, cool, we're doing this." But yeah, dude, I was not where I'm at right now, and like I've also been at a bigger weight and like all these things, but I think at the end of the day, it boils down to like what you intake to what you use, if that makes any sense. Like, because there's like when I gained the most amount of weight in my like
you're
career,
trying to gain weight, right? I mean,
not anymore. Like at the point where I am in my life,
we're in whole different scenarios, right? Yeah. I wanted to lose weight. You wanted to gain muscle. I'm gonna say that I wanted to lose weight. You want to gain muscle. Yeah. So different, right? Wholly different scenarios, right?
Yeah, and for me it was just muscle train, or like Olympic weight training, and what
Yeah.
I mean by that is like deadlifts, squats, bench press, cleans, things of that nature. And then once I got those down, and like I got a good coach, like by all means, bless Coach Gons, like from Rangeview High School. Like he taught me all my technique and everything.
Yeah.
Like whether it was a 1 minute training session, regardless.
Do you do that
like
stuff in high school?
yeah, we like for high school football training, and that's the thing. Like you never know whether something's gonna be good or bad. Like in your life. For me, like at the time, I was like, God, I got new kettlebells right now. Like,
I got burritos during my weightlifting.
We got to do conditioning, like all these things, and like you associate negative things, and like you're like, okay, I understand. Like I know how to freaking squat. Like okay, get away from me. But like all those things start sticking to you, right? And you start like you grow into your own stuff. Like damn, okay, I remember this one instance where this person told me I had to squat like this. Okay, let me bam, squat like that, right? And it all starts like that, but like let's get away from the topic of like weightlifting and like losing weight. I guess the gist of that whole matter is eat less, work out more in a healthy sense. Like you understand what that range is for you, and you go from there.
Do it healthy. That's all I'm gonna say, right? Don't listen to what other people say. It's good experiences, right? But you have to do what's right for you, right? I mean, no matter what, I think it does come down to that basic scenario, right? Eat less, do more. And
do more because like
right?
The motivation should be yours. Right? Like I guess
it has to be yours.
At the beginning, you started off with a certain motivation. I started off with a certain motivation,
exactly.
And I think it was very similar. Now that I think about it, but like
that's where it always starts. Right? No matter what,
because you're trying to like impress the other sex or the person you are attracted to.
You have to, right? And that's where the mindset comes from, and then you live from it, and then you're like, I'm doing it for me. Yeah. So if there's a certain point where
that's where you gotta go. If anything that you get out of this is find a way to do it for yourself.
Oh, I agree.
If it starts with you doing it for somebody else, cool. That's great. That's the great ignition. Yeah. But after that, start doing it for yourself.
Starts that lighter, right? Yeah. And then boom. Then it's gotta be you, right? And then there's a certain point where you love it, right? And then you see results. It's a snowball. So yes,
absolutely.
100%. So yeah, I agree. That's where it's at.
Uh-huh. I also want to go back to at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
I had read the Urban Dictionary definition of Henry. And a big thing in there was loyalty.
Yeah.
And there is.
Do you think I'm loyal?
No. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna explain it to you right now.
Please.
This man. I think it was about September 18th, somewhere in that week. I was like, yo, I have a challenge for myself for my birthday, which is the 22nd of September, and it's a work day, or it's a work week, and I want to do something. And the thing I want to do is bike 25 miles from Washington Park, Denver, Colorado to what is that lake called over in Lakewood?
It's
Centennial.
Yeah, I mean it's right around there, but Grand Trip. You can just say Grand Trip, right?
So there was this trip that we planned, and I said, you know what, Henry, we're gonna wake up at 3:30 a.m. I'm gonna call you as soon as I get to the park at 4 a.m. We're gonna meet there. We're gonna do this trip, and we're gonna catch the dopest sunrise of your life.
And
I kid you not. And then after that, we're gonna go to work. So motivated. And I told him all this during our daily work chats. And this is just one instance of the amount of loyalty that he, or how loyal he is to just the people he does trust. And dude, it came about 4 a.m. on, I think it was a Wednesday day. My phone rang multiple times. I thought it was my alarm. I snoozed it. Long story short, I was a jerk. I snoozed all of them. He was at Washington Park at 4 a.m.
Bike out and everything.
Bike out and everything. Like John Travolta in freaking, what is that movie?
Pulp Fiction, I think.
Pulp Fiction, just looking around. Where's Vargas? Nowhere to be found. And that is just one instance where I, in a sense, failed, and I knew that, like, Henry is about that action. Like, he was there at 4 a.m. and he was about it, and I was not. And it sucks to say that I was not, because I really wanted that. It was my birthday. Like, I wanted to do the 25 miles in the morning, and then I left him hanging. But I don't know what else proves loyalty than someone who is about their word and shows up somewhere where they're supposed to be. And that is what Henry, in a nutshell, did. And in a sense, like since I've known you, I think that's something that has been very apparent about you, that you are about your word. And if I want to, like, what I want to get out of this is, like, you should be about your word, about anything you say. If you're not going to, like, don't even say something if you're not going to be about it, you know? And, like, that's something that I get from Henry is, like, he will commit to you. And when he commits to you, he's about it. Like, he's not going to, like, bullshit you. So if you can learn that skill from from his experience and my own experience of, like, letting him down. And trust me, there's many times you can make yourself up for it, but still, it's just like
we still went on that ride.
Yeah.
Later in the day,
we still went on that ride. Regardless, he was there at 4 a.m. on Wash Park. He was about it. That is Henry. So now I want to go to some rapid fire questions for Henry.
No response or anything?
Nah.
That was good.
Just take appreciation.
Thank you for that.
Take appreciation.
I appreciate it for sure.
Please do.
It's a little bit of pride, right? And you know, I think that's a little family, right? There's something in pride, right? And whether it be from family taught, from self-taught, pride in what you do, pride in what you say, pride in everything.
Loyalty is the last thing. Like, you could have nothing in life. You could be homeless. But loyalty is something that you still have power over. So never lose that, bro. And if anyone's listening,
will not.
Like, try to make that, like, your bread and butter. Because if you say you're gonna do something, do it. If you're gonna do something, or if you say you're gonna do something, then do it. You know?
Yeah.
All right. So
let's hit that rapid fire.
Rapid fire. All right. Who are your role models growing up versus now?
Versus now.
Yeah. So
it's changed a little. Hey, dang, that's a tough question. That's a good question.
It's hard.
So I think that I'm not going to take too long to answer it, because I think what pops in your head is what you should answer with, right?
Okay.
I think that's something. When I was growing up, it's my dad. I think that's I feel like what most people would say. Role model is my dad, for sure. He's one of those people that will work to the bitter end, like broken bones, like he'll just work and he'll get.
You admired that.
Absolutely. There's something about that. And pride in work, he cares, right? And it's weird, something through that, and that's a little even with the previous story where it's like, you say you're going to do something, just do it, right? And there's a certain thing that my dad taught me that, and it's interesting because my dad was one of those funny people. He always loves people, like making people laugh, being the entertainer. And I would like to say I'm kind of the same thing to a degree, but it wears on you. It's tough, right? But he'll be that person and always be there, and always be that entertainer. But he's reliable, he's there, and he's the smartest person I know. So that's something I can say with my dad.
Should I read the Henry definition again? Because that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, you take a boy for the people that you have trusted in, or like feel like they are a part of your kin, and that it shouldn't be taken lightly, because the amount of people that you meet that are like that is very few in your life. Like, there's a handful of people that you're like, that person would take a bullet for me. That person would take a bullet for me. And, like, you should almost cherish those people. And, like, you do. I'm not saying you don't cherish your dad. So, like by all means, dude. Like, dude. Yeah. What about now? Who is your current role model? Is it still your dad?
So, it's changed, right? And I think he's still there. Because I'm impressed with... and he's changed over the years, right? I mean, of course, he's not the same person as he was 20 whatever years ago, right? But now it's become more people my age, where I see you for fitness. I see other people for success. I see that. So my role model is...
It doesn't have to be a person or an ideal or
and
something.
I think that's where it's going to be. It's comfortable in your own skin. That's my goal. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard thing to do. I think to be comfortable with who you are, who you live to be, like, just in general living. That's a hard thing to do. You can always find faults. So that's my role model, is people who are there, right? People who are making it, people who are TikTok famous, people who are Instagram famous, people who have made it in this. I'm like, they're content, or they're this, or so. It's to be comfortable with who you are, and of course you can improve and be better and do something, but you got one life, man. You got to live it, right? You know what I mean? There's nothing better. And one thing this man's taught me, Vargas right here, it's sometimes you gotta take risks, do stuff that you don't like, and not even don't like. It's do stuff, decide if you like it after.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that philosophy. It's something that I didn't know in the past, right? Where it's like, do something first, decide if you like it after. That's a weird concept to most people, right? It's like, I decide if I love or hate that before I do anything. And that's a weird thing to think. So my role models are comrades, right? And it's just it's people like you who are striving for better, where I'm content. And it's like, oh, I can do better. Or it's people who I see doing greater things that I'm like, I know I can do better, but I'm content. That comfort, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm comfortable. So I would say that
comfort kills, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Comfort kills.
You got another rapid question for me?
Yeah,
or
I do.
Keep talking, but
no, I got one more. What's something that gets you excited in, like, modern day?
In general?
Yeah.
Whew,
what's something that gets excited? Like, oh my god, I love doing this. It could be this right now.
Gets me excited. That's such a broad question.
It's not though. But what was the last thing you got excited about?
Beating you at ping pong, but that's
good. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So
it doesn't have to be crazy good.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think everything should. So if you're doing it, it should probably get you excited, right? And so for me, that's an interesting question because it sparked not one answer, multiple answers, right? And so that's a good thing. A lot of people, I think, when you ask them that question, what gets you excited, they would say nothing or this or I don't have an answer for that. I was like,
that isn't in a sense an answer.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's I'm not going to say sad, but it just shows where you are in life, right? And it's something like that. It was like, I'm excited to get up. For me, I lost a little weight. I am excited to run every morning. It shows I can do it. It shows I can be better. It shows I can do that. I'm excited to beat this man at ping pong.
Yeah,
I love that.
You whipped my ass today.
Yeah, so it's good to see. I'm excited. I just bought a new house. I think that so I got a lot of
so much to talk about. But
yeah, so I got
bookmark
things to be excited. It was like there's things I gotta not be excited about too, but it's the excited things is what carries me through because I got negatives. Everybody's got negatives. You know what I mean? I would say I think you would agree. You got to look at the positives and not the negatives, or they will drown you down.
Absolutely.
I mean, I could look at negatives right now, and they would kill the mood, right? So, it's the what I'm excited about is every day, and I live by that quote. It's I don't even know. It's probably not a quote, but I heard it somewhere. It's like a step forward, lateral is a movement in the right direction, right? And so that's what I try and live by. If I'm trying to move forward or even if I don't progress, but I don't go backwards, that's a movement forward. I get out and run. I get out and do this. I get out and do that. I'm like, that is positive. So that's what I'm excited for. I'm trying to live my life.
I love that. And that was, in a sense, the best segue, because I was going to ask you, what is like a quote that motivates you, or like that is in your mind? And you said it, but I also have a quote that I want to tell you.
Bring it.
It's by another Henry. His name is Henry
Henrys
David.
Are great, by the way.
They are. From my experience, they are. Henry David Thoreau. His quote is, "The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it." Which is, in a sense,
give and take, right?
Like to anything that you do in life, the price for it is like what it takes out of you, like your own sanity, your own person. Like if you have to flex to fit a certain mold, like that is taken away from who you are, right? And in a sense, we only have like a limited time. Like we really do. If you were to like put it in a book, like let's say Marcus Aurelius, like he only lived to a certain age. Let's say, I don't remember what it was, but like let's say 76, 78.
Yeah.
If someone would have said at the like from his lifespan, like, and you're like, yo, Henry, you're at 38 right now, 38%. Like that makes a difference. You're like, damn, like this is running out. Like each day, I'm
gonna change. I'm gonna do something.
It's not even change. It's like, damn, I'm motivated to. I want to change. Like and you're right. I want to change the world. Like I want to do something different. Like this for me, like life in its sense is like, dude, we have so much potential. So much. Like even in doing this, and like for the 10 people that are hearing this, I appreciate you. And like.
It matters.
It matters. It really does.
Subscribe, hit that bell. Come on.
Because it really does matter, and it's just like, it's a mindset that like we all have to train ourselves to, and like, I think we have it. We have that mindset now. It's just a matter of being able to pass it over, like train it, because it's not like a computer where you could just stick a flash drive and put copy paste.
A lot of people don't have it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely anything like this, even like that, even talking about it, there's a gate, right? I mean, to talk about anything that has been close to you, that you care about, to anything you want to put out to the world, right? To know that this is going out to the world, right? I mean, the world could see this. That's hard.
Bro, you could change
the world. To say you're a fat ass to the whole world is like, damn, that's rough.
It ain't easy, bro.
Yeah, none of that's easy, right? And I'll say it, right? But there's a certain point of acceptance, right? Even like that, and it's like, dang. But accepting is allowing you to move forward. Like there's certain things where it's like, yo, that is that you got to start there, right? It's like, are you an alcoholic? You got to accept that you're an alcoholic.
It's the vulnerability thing.
Yes,
it's like, and you got to be vulnerable.
It's hard
for yourself at the start before anything of this, because like, if you're always gonna be like, no, I'm not like that, like, no, like, then you're just cheating yourself. Right? You're cheating yourself because you're like, I'm not an alcoholic, like, never, like, no, like, by all means, like, you're just deterring yourself and pushing yourself further, and like, in a sense, you gotta like analyze yourself and be like, yo, what is like, what I'm doing now? How is that gonna be different? Like, how about this? If I keep on doing the same things I do now, where will I end up at a certain amount of time? Yeah. Like those are the things, and like if I start changing who I am, and like I start focusing on the things that I don't like about myself, and like not in a negative sense, because like obviously I could be like, oh my god, like I am so like my hair is always like so frizzy.
Everybody can complain.
Like like I could always complain, but like it's about acting and doing those things and like changing those things that really make a difference in everyone's. Yeah,
it's weird. Some people don't want to try, right? And that's the hard thing. It's complaining is easy, and that's it's hard. But I love to complain. Yeah. Another thing that I would want to get into, and I don't think it's the time to do it today, but is in reading, bro. Reading. Oh my god! Like the first book I've really read for like, to really comprehend anything was How to Win Friends and Influence People
by David or Carnegie.
Did you gain a lot?
Oh my
Just
God,
answer.
yes.
You gained a lot
Yes.
from it. No?
Yes.
We can save it for the next podcast.
And one of the things in that book is like not complaining, bro. Because the thing with complaining...
Complaining's easy.
It is, but like the thing about complaining, if you logically look at it, if you complain about something, if you can do something to change that complaint or do something about it, then do it. So why complain, right?
Interesting.
If there is something you're complaining about that you can't do anything to change, then there is no point in you like complaining about it. Now, there is a caveat to that, right? In the sense that there is a lot of struggle and strife, I think, is a good word for that like we are all experiencing, right? And like it's not to be ignored of like there's something that is going wrong in my life or in someone's life that something needs to change. But you have to think about it, like where is the power lie? How can I really change this, right? Because there are certain things that you can voice your opinion and do all these things, and unfortunately that's how society is structured, that you can't really like change by me being like, yo, that fucking sucks, like I wish that wasn't a thing. And like work, but, yeah. It in a sense like you almost have to mold. Oh God. So another friend of mine, her name is Jakaya, and she had mentioned that women in history, and I'm almost gonna butcher this story, so I'm super sorry for it, but like women in history, powerful women to be exact, like almost understood the cage that they were in of like, I want to say Cleopatra was something that we mentioned, right? She understood that like her marrying Caesar, I want to say Anthony
Cleopatra. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
She understood that her best move at the time with what the structures were of society were to marry this dude, get in his ear and be like, yo, this is the things we gotta do, right?
Whisper
and like by all means, like this is not the right structure for it, but like you have to almost mold to your environment. And this is kind of what I'm saying is like you can't wish for your environment to mold to you and be like, yo, come on, like help me out. You almost have to mold to it, you know?
Wouldn't that be awesome though?
It would, but the thing is like we are in a sense selfish because we want instant things, like. And by all means, like, I also think about it in the sense of, like, I have a good life, but there's other people that don't have a good life right now, right? Sure. And they're like, damn, I also want those good things. But, like, you're saying all the, like, and it's all about perspective as well. So, like, there's so many tangents we can go on of many things. But I guess at the end of the day, it's just, like, worry about the things that you can control, you know? Like, unfortunately, like, there are certain things in the environment you can't control. You worry about
things you don't control, but
like if you can try to like minimize all those things, just like a couple entities of like, okay, this is what I can't control. Let me gain enough power so that I can control other things. That is where progress can be made. And the thing is, progress is slow, and like our generation is
slow. That's huge.
Yeah, right? Progress is slow, and like our generation is used to instant gratification and instant like want for this happiness, but we don't. We have to understand that things come slow. We almost have to like, unfortunately, wait out these old generations of old thinking. But like, I almost get like my true philosophy with this is like, I know we are in a better place than we were many of millennia, and like the place we are in, it's not good. It's not the best. I'll be the first to tell you that it's not ideal.
It's better than before, though.
It is. Yeah, we can say that it's not. It's not ideal, but like let's strive. Let's strive for better. Let's strive for getting better, and it will. It's slow. Like imagine like the kids that are being raised right now. They're going to education. Like I know for a fact, my little brother's like learning about social injustices and like things that like are real in life, right? And like in a sense, it will procreate to go into the future, right? We're always gonna get better and better, but at the time we want better things right now, and that's the thing that it's hard to achieve. Like we can't get those better things right now. As much as I wish I could just snap my fingers and say, you know what, we're gonna get those better things, but it is gonna take some time, and I know for a fact like the generations to come are gonna bring that. Now I'm selfishly gonna cut it there, and then I have a couple more questions after that.
Absolutely.
So I told you the quote by Henry David Thoreau.
Yep.
So now I want the 5-year advice for yourself 5 years ago. What would you tell yourself?
5 years ago, what would I tell myself?
So that is 2016. 2016. What would you tell Henry at that time?
That's a hard question. 2016. What would I tell myself? No, that's a... Do you have an answer for yourself?
I do.
I don't know. That's buying me time, right? In terms of what I would tell for myself, because we're whole different people, right? I mean, in my lifespan, I changed in 2 years.
So you were in high school, or...
So
no, you were in college at that point.
5 years ago, I was in college.
Yeah, I was too.
So I was in college for sure. Yeah, it's. I didn't live college to the fullest, I would say, which is good and bad. It landed me the career, it landed me a profession, but I didn't live it, which then made me live it afterwards. So,
what would be the advice?
But 5 years ago, I would have been a senior.
Yes, as a senior at DU, what would be your advice? Like, if you could go back in time and be secret, like,
yeah, that's right.
Put money in Bitcoin or nothing like that. What would be the advice that you would give your senior year DU college kid self?
I would say the one thing I would say treasure connections.
Treasure connections. There we go. That's
I
I almost don't want you to say anything more.
No, I'm good. I'll shut up there because I think that's important.
Treasure connections.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
can you answer it? Do you have a question? 5 years ago for you.
Yeah. 5 years ago for me.
So where were you?
2016 I was in college. It was sophomore year for me. Yeah, sophomore year.
So I was a senior, so I was almost done, right? You were halfway through. We'll go with that.
I would say, dude, live in the present. Don't be anxious.
Live in the present.
Don't be anxious. And that's no more to say to that. I think that's self-explanatory. Yeah. Live in the present. Don't be anxious about the future. Or depressed about the past. And I could almost tell myself that same shit right now.
I think everybody could.
So now the next question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? So it is going to be 2026. Oh my God.
2016? Woo!
2026. Where do you see yourself?
2026. Where do I see myself? It's weird. I see two avenues.
Which are?
One is, I'm not going to say stagnant, but top dog at the current company I'm at. Okay. Which is, it's.
I know where it's at, but I think that explanation is perfect enough. Top dog at the company. What is the other one?
Yeah, and the other one is successful in its own right without being sustained by any entity.
Define success for me.
Able to live without worry on a daily basis.
Able to live without worry on a daily basis. Okay.
I think that's a pretty good explanation.
That is.
How about you? 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Not working.
Not working at all. I see myself working in that. So interesting. Where
for me, it's about experience and like.
So you got it. 5 years. You don't have an or. I had 2, right? It was like 5 years.
For me, it's like work minimal. Like
work minimal. Okay.
For me, it's like I have spun a web of a sorts that like generates its own value. It is self-funding, and like I don't think I want to work for money, or like my desire is money. Like I don't care for that. For me, it's more about.
Do you think money's important?
No, I don't think money's important, and the reason I want to say that. You answered that quick. Yeah,
and
the reason I want to say that is because there's a lot of people that live without money, and life is so important for them. Yeah. So like,
I agree.
If money was important for me, then I'd give everything for it. But like, even now, like, there's a lot of things that I love that like I would give up money for my life. Like, there's the value of me.
Do you think we'd be friends without money?
Not really, no, because capitalism and the reason like I took
agree.
the
And
job.
that's a hard question. So let me preface
No,
that.
like
right?
no, because
But you know what
money,
I mean?
like if we were all like, oh, we're like just gonna grow our own crops, everyone's doing their own thing, like we would never meet. But like
on a farm, everybody on their own farm and be just
Yeah.
isolated, right?
Exactly, but life, in a sense, that is how the cookie crumbled, in a sense, right? So, for me, like, yeah, money,
So you'd be broke. If
The
you
thing
were,
is,
if you
like-
were happy and broke, you'd be content.
yeah, I want to say yeah, I want to say yes, I would absolutely say that, but that's easier said than done, because at the time of being broke, there's a lot of factors that go into it, right? And for me, I don't think they're like personal factors, but more exterior factors, like other people that if I went broke, it would affect their life, which in a sense would affect my life. But let's say I was a single entity and I was just
Isolated.
burnt. I was just like born in a petri dish and I had no other existence of anything. I want to say, yeah, like I could just hitchhike my way through life and be that type of person. Yeah, but
you
like,
wouldn't want anything. No luxuries, no...
I want experiences, and I think you could get those experiences without.
You couldn't travel too much. I mean, you could.
You can
walk
though. You
and
can. You
hitchhike
can.
and-
You can. Exactly. That's exactly what you said. And like it
You'd be
sounds.
cool with that. No air flight. I would. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be obviously like, I don't know. Again, it's just easier said than done because I'm always thinking about like, yeah, fuck it, like I'd go out there, I'd be myself, I'd like try to clean myself as best possible to be able to get picked up to go to the next place, right? Yeah. I'd experience these things and like make myself of value to people. But at the end of the day, it's just like that's easier said than done again, because there's a lot of times where like, yo, like you're not getting in my car, like no, by all means, right, type of thing.
Like, sorry, but no.
But there is some liberty in like having no responsibility, but there is liberty. Okay, this is actually kind of crazy.
Money leads to responsibility. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think money should even be in the conversation. What I'm trying to say is responsibility is correlated to liberty. Okay, that's a hard one to say.
It's gotta be money. I mean,
no. Like money is a trust thing. That's what money is. In a sense, money is, if you go to the root of it, the reason for money being created is because of trust.
Like bartering, and is that what you're talking about?
No, because like you go to a different country, you don't know me, you don't know if I'm gonna pay you back, but I have this bill that as a nation we have decided is of value. So if I give you this bill that I have worked my butt to get, I'm going to give you that. So it's a trust thing. And in a bill, if you open up a bill, it says in the trust of whatever, right? So like that is the fundamentals of any currency is trust.
So say we went to the gold standard, you
could talk about Bitcoin.
Ooh.
Let's talk about Bitcoin, right?
Oh,
Bitcoin is all
That's
about trust. There's a lot of nightmares, but the reason it's so valuable is because people
Dogecoin.
Trust it. Why is Dogecoin so valuable, or not so valuable? But it's because people trust it, right? At one point, people trusted the gold standard, and people still do because we still trade in money, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. Okay, fuck.
Backed.
What tangent are we in? I don't even know where it went from that, but
hold on. We went a crazy trip.
That took a turn of events. I don't know if I want to. Let's just end it at that.
Yeah, let's.
So at this time, I want to know your favorite jam. What are you jamming out
music.
to?
We're talking music. I like that good cut. That was good because we could have went.
We could have
been a million.
I'm telling you, there's so many places we could go with a lot of these things.
Favorite jam.
What are you jamming out to? Not even favorite. Just what. Like if I was to give you your Spotify playlist right now, I could give you your phone. What would that like jam be?
Dang.
Because I don't care about favorites because it's hard to be like, oh, this is my absolute. Like,
what
would you pick to get a party like started? Like you just arrived at a house party. You're the only one that has the aux input. What are you putting on the song to get everyone like boom, boom, hyped. You know.
I'm playing that freaking Bad Bunny song.
Which one? Ducati.
Ducati.
And we're gonna end on that one. No. That's all. That's all.
That's weird. It's been in my head for days. It's like I feel like that's a mood, right? And
it is.
It's something that gets people pumping, right?
It gets the people going.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So let's take a final shot to end this.
Absolutely. Let's take a
final shot. You pour it out.
But I pour them heavy.
It's okay. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. Oh, heavy is an understatement. I would say.
We're talking full shots. I think I spilled the first shot.
Bro, I see the meniscus on that thing, bro. There are all those science nerds who know what the meniscus is.
I'm pretty impressed.
I see the meniscus on that boy.
With the little Game of Thrones shot.
All right, salud.
Oh, little bro. Salud.
Thank you for being a great host and guest. Thank you.
Thank you.